All right, we're in Changsha. We're testing tea samples. Let's get in the car. All right, people, this is the room where it happens. In this room is the end result of over a year's worth of work that we've been doing to create what I hope is going to be the best tea oranges available anywhere in certainly the Western market. We're about to test all of our new tea oranges that we've made. And while we're setting up the test, let me give you a little bit of the background of how this happened. When we started the tea company in 2021, one of the first teas that we put onto the site was the tea orange, because I love drinking them in China and I knew that it would look really cool on the internet, but it was a great mix of these things. People are going to be interested in it and it tastes really good. The problem with tea oranges is that because they look cool, they'll oftentimes use bad quality oranges or bad quality tea. Finding one that was a good orange with good tea in it was already a problem. It was a challenge. But then we had the 8-year aged Pu'er that we put into the tea oranges. They were part of our sampler. A lot of people liked them. They were probably our best selling tea that we've had up until this point. But I always wanted to do different types of tea into them, not just the Pu'er. And also I wanted to experiment having our own control over the orange itself, which was not something that we had before. So what we did was we looked really, really hard and we eventually found Jie, who is our tea orange guy. We went to Xian, we saw the orange fields. They do organic EU quality oranges. It was very hard to find an EU quality orange. We have our partners over here in Changsha who are helping us with the EU certified teas. If we put the EU certified tea and the EU certified orange and then send that out for pesticide testing, we should pass all the tests and we'll be able to have the highest export quality tea oranges available anywhere and in multiple flavors. We're now laying them all out here on this table to do a test. We're going to drink 3 grams of the tea without the orange. And then we're going to drink 3 grams of the tea, combine 3 grams of the orange and the tea together. And so that way we're going to be able to see, one, obviously the quality of the original tea. The second is what the orange peel did to the flavor. So this is the Gongting Pu'er, or the Royal Pu'er. And this is the stuff that's almost always found in a tea orange. So if you see a tea orange, it's usually always filled with this. But it's not the only thing that we can put inside of an orange. So we have a whole bunch of different teas here that we're going to try. We're going to experiment with some white teas. We have a bunch of red teas. We have some yen cha. We have a liu bao, black tea. Which of these actually make good tea oranges and which of them just kind of seemed like a good idea in my head? All right, so here we go. First is a scent. Here we go. So first impression, the oranges smell good, which is good to know because we spent a year trying to find them. I'm going to take one of these cups, start trying out our tea. There we go. Here we go. I'm going to try the thing. Classic Gongting Pu'er. Here we go. The orange scent is getting in there. It tastes a little bit different than the ones we have right now. Smoked lapsang. The smoke flavor is really intense. And there's a little bit of like sourness at the end there, but I think that's because of the 5 minutes steep. Reminds me a little of that smoked red tea I had in Vietnam. That's cool, I like that. That's the orange and the smoke kind of like mellow each other out a bit. The problem is we did like 11 of these. I'm worried I'm gonna like them all. It's gonna be impossible to pick. The red snail. The tannins are coming in a little bit at the end, but even that's less tannin than I would expect for 5 minutes deep. So I'm actually pretty happy with the raw quality of the tea. And here's the one with the orange. That's really good. It's like got the honey and the orange together. See, unsmoked lapsang. That's really good. That's like a good tea. Even though everybody wants the lapsang to be smoked, I don't think people would be upset if they drank that. Now the lapsang with the orange. That is really good too. Although I feel like the orange isn't coming through as much on this one as it did on some of the others. So 1 round done. Let's get some of the tea house team on and have everybody else give them a try. Alex, 有什么想法？这个香气怎么样？
我们那个原版的茶，它有独特的香味，但是一旦加上那个青柑的味道了之后，一下子变成另外一种茶了。而且确实青柑的有一点酸味儿，或者说那种青柑的味道，它能中和有些很浓烈的茶的味道。
我觉得红螺还有正山小种无盐生板就香香甜甜的，感觉起来非常柔和那个味道。 蜂蜜味非常重，然后还有那个花果稍微有点酸酸的那个味道。
能不能感觉到带着这个橘子皮和不带橘子皮的茶的口味的区别？
我们茶的味道会比较纯正一点，它就是会有那种茶的香，然后有点枣香的味道。然后如果一旦是融入了这个小青柑的话，它整体味道会变得更清新一些。
我们一般的小青柑都是和普洱茶去搭配，红茶和小青柑的搭配，挺好，是吧？
对，
觉得其实还比优于普洱茶。
All right, here we go. Here's round 2. We have a Baimudan white peony, and then that with the orange. We have a Yue Guangbai, so a moonlight white with the orange. We have a Shoumei white tea, and with the orange. And then we have a Dongfang Meiren Eastern Beauty oolong, and with the orange. Okay, 可以倒水了。For this round, we're going for the more like white tea / lighter oolong route, so we can kind of compare them next to each other, because white tea oranges are really not common at all. Maybe it doesn't work at all. So we have a lot of choices to make here, and it'll be a little bit easier if we do a more direct comparison. All right, and we're doing the dumps. You know, all these different white teas, the color looks very similar, and then the Eastern Beauty is quite different. First, this is the Baimudan. It smells nice. The leaves look really pretty. Now the Baimudan with the orange. Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, that orange smell works really well with the white tea in general. That being said, we might need to figure something out about the breaking of the leaves, because it doesn't look super pretty, but this may be something that's going to be difficult to prevent, because white tea is always crumbly like that. Moonlight white, that's really great. These leaves also look really pretty. The orange peel is very strong in that one. I'm curious to see what these are going to look like when we do the full oranges, because I think the orange smell is overly strong here now, because we have relatively more orange to tea in these small 3-gram samples. That's our Shoumei. Kind of like that, actually. Yeah, the Shoumei with the, I think I might like that fragrance the best out of all of them, actually, which is surprising to me, because the Shoumei usually is not known for its fragrance. But here we go. Now here's the Eastern Beauty. That smells great. I like that. That's the Eastern Beauty oolong scent, and the orange mixes really well together. It reminds me of the Hongluo, like the red snail from the first batch. Some of the teas, it just feels like they mix better and they cause one thing instead of 2 flavors. And that's one of the big problems that I always had with the lower quality tea oranges that we found, was like, it felt like you were drinking tea and an orange, as opposed to something that was like meant to be together. Let's try the flavor now. So this is the white peony Baimudan. That's really good, actually. I like that a lot. Here's a white peony with the orange. That tastes really good. I like that a lot. I also think it's going to get even better as the tea and the orange sit together a little bit more. But that's already, I think, a clear improvement over just having the tea by itself, or at least it's really unique. So this is the Yue Guangbai. This is the Yunnanese white tea. It's actually very impressive. These teas taste so good after the 5-minute steep. That one had a little bit more like kind of body to it. Moonlight white with the tea orange. It's almost like the combine and the honey flavor in the tea really comes out with the orange in there. I don't know why it is that the orange is bringing out that honey, but it seems like all of these white teas, they're actually packing really well together. It feels like it's a real improvement to have them together. This is the Shoumei. It's like a deeper flavor in there. Still very sweet. Shoumei with the orange. I think that's the strongest of them. Like the Shoumei body is very strong. It's like kind of more of a punch. Those other ones are kind of lighter, more floral, honeyer, and this one's like deeper and kind of like stronger. Honestly, all 3 of them are really good. This may be the sort of thing where we can come down to like, hey, if there's like one of them is way cheaper than the other, I think that like almost nobody would have a huge issue with any 3 of those if you like white tea. And this may be one of those where like now we do look at the price afterwards and say like, hey, if we can give somebody more or cheaper, like, you know, be able to give you more of it or bring the price down, like, I think that there's not an enormous difference between those. Eastern Beauty oolong. Well, that's strong. I usually don't drink the Eastern Beauty at that long steep. It definitely has a lot more like richness than I normally would have. Like normally when you drink this, it's like the fragrance is really the first thing you feel. But when you have that super long steep, the flavor of it really comes out. but it still has that very strong honey note, like the floral honey note, almost a little bit of like chrysanthemum flower flavor in there. Let's try it with the orange. Yeah, that works. This is one that was like, of all the ones on the list that was kind of like non-conventional, I had the highest hope for this one, and I think it's really good. After round 2, thoughts. All 3 of the white teas are great. White tea and the tea oranges go together well. We have white tea, like the 3 treasures white tea on the website already, which is like chenpi and white tea together. I may look at the price of these, and then that guy's, I think, a winner. But let's see what the rest of the team thinks.
我觉得白茶和青皮的搭配很好，对，它就是给予白茶更多丰富层次的香气了。
那这个东方美人，你觉得那个香气怎么样？因为我感觉这个春茶和这个带着青皮的那个香气的变化很大。
但是如果说我个人的话，我还是更喜欢纯种的东方美人，因为我觉得它的这个香气更有魅力。东方美人它和青皮的结合，我觉得它那个青皮的这种风味太强烈了，抢了它的东方美人本来那种风韵。
走了一圈下来的话，我觉得确实白茶像你所说的，其实都很好喝，但是他们会有一点点不一样的感觉。关于杰西说的最后一款原有的东方美人和加了小金柑的东方美人，它们的变化是有质的变化。原先呢是很香很浓郁，但是加了小青柑之后，它原来的那种香已经不见了，出来一种新的那种清香。
我感觉3个白茶里面的话，我个人比较喜欢月光白的那个白茶和小青柑混合的味道，因为它2个融合的会比较好一点，然后你也可以喝出它的茶的味道和这个青柑结合的感觉。然后东方美人就是非常的独特，它的原来的茶味道配上那个小青柑，它就变成了另一种风味，是一种以前没有喝过的一种茶的风味，所以我觉得很特别。
All right, third run, and this one we only have 3 left to test. We have here the Da Hong Pao, the big red robe, and the version with the orange. We have the Shui Xian, the water goddess rock tea, and then here with the orange. And then we have the Liu Bao Cha and the Liu Bao with the orange. So here we go. Not even smelling into the tea. You can smell it just coming up here. The very, very strong. Very, very cool. Here we are, the final one. So first of all, testing the scent. The Da Hong Pao is really nice. Yeah, the Da Hong Pao, the orange is kind of overwhelming the Da Hong Pao in here. That's a Shui Xian, very nice. Thing about rock tea, yen cha, it gets very expensive very quickly. So we've picked types that are a little bit cheaper so that once we combine it with the orange, we can actually like afford it all. But the result is that the fragrance of the pure tea is a little bit weaker than normal, but that's supposed to be made up by also having the orange fragrance in there. So for both of these, I feel like the tea is being overpowered a bit by the orange. This is the EU standard Liu Bao, which was very difficult to find. It's newer Liu Bao, so it's not as it ages, it gets kind of softer. So the flavor is like very dark, very earthy, very punchy. I like Liu Bao, but that is very distinctive. It's going to be very different from anything else people have had before. And then with the orange, I feel like the orange mellowed it out. I think the orange helped this one quite a bit. Let's taste it. Here's the Da Hong Pao just by itself. It's good. It has that really good like Da Hong Pao like rock tea flavor, very strong, very rich, but also has that like honey bit in there. There's a little tail flavor I don't like, but that's from oversteeping it for so long. And also again from picking the ones that are not the highest of the high end. Now with the orange, interesting. Yeah, a lot of the distinctive kind of like back richer flavors of the Da Hong Pao seem to be completely gone from that one. Which is weird because usually when it gets mixed with stuff, it like adds, but this kind of felt like it subtracted. I'm not sure I'm a fan of that. Here is the Shui Xian. Here we go. Again, that rock tea has this nice like silhouette in the back. It has a like a astringency to it, not quite as intense as raw Pu'er, but it has that very like kind of roasty note in the back. Again, in order to get the price down a little bit on these, we gave up a little bit on the fragrance, but the flavor is actually still quite good. I'm hoping that the orange makes up for the fragrance. Yeah, weird. I feel like I'm getting only orange. I'm interested to see what the professional tasters say, because it feels to me like both of these rock tea experiments, I'm not sure they worked. Because I think that with more tea, I think that it could come out clearer. And right now, I think the peel is kind of overwhelming it a little bit because our samples have more peel in them than tea. And when we go into the actual orange, it's gonna be different. Let's try the Liu Bao. Cheers. That's better than I thought it might be. For the younger Liu Bao, a lot of times it has this really like, almost like a fishy, fresh flavor, like too fresh. 这个是哪个年份呢？这个Liu Bao是今年的吗？19年的吗？那还有点年份啊。They're like, it's from 2019. It has some age to it. Yeah, that tastes fine. They scared me by saying it was younger. Maybe they drink really old Liu Bao all the time. Let's see what it tastes like with the orange. Cheers. Interesting. I think the Liu Bao is also being overwhelmed a little bit by the orange. It tastes very orangey, and I'm surprised that flavor, that heavy flavor, would be covered up by the orange. This is also one that I want to try the full one, because both the scent and the taste is covered up more by the orange than I would have expected. But it is still there in the back. But also, if you look here, like this one is way darker than this one. And I think what's happening is that this way of doing the testing, where we have more tea in here and then less tea in here because some of it is being taken up by the orange, I think that's meaning that we're not getting as rich of a steep. And so for all three of these, I kind of hope that we'll get a stronger tea flavor out of them when we have them in the full orange sizes. I'm excited to see what everybody else says, so let's get going. 现在有什么样的感觉？先说这3款。
我们最开始喝就是喝纯大红袍的时候，能够明显的感觉大红袍的风味，然后有高火香，有那种大红袍的银韵。但是我们跟了小青柑混到一起喝了以后，然后大红袍的那个风味稍有减少，然后青柑的风味能够很明显的闻得出来。那两个茶综合起来以后，喝这个茶汤是有一点甜润的感觉的，但是喝不出明显的大红袍的味道。然后这个水仙也是一样的，水仙我们本身喝整个纯茶的时候是有那个甜润的感觉，但是我们跟小青柑混合以后，没有明显的感觉到这个茶的味道了，应该还是小青柑的那个柑油太重了，然后把这个茶味掩盖了。但是我们用六堡茶跟小青柑去合并的时候，还是能够喝得出来这个整个合并起来的那种相得益彰的那个滋味啊，包括口感。所以我认为就是说，如果是这几个茶要跟小青柑搭配的话，可能这种滋味重一点的，像六堡啊或者什么的这种，可能更合适一点。
太好了。所以你觉得在今天所有的这个茶当中，你觉得哪一些青柑是最好喝？
刚开始喝了那个烟小种，觉得还是有一点，因为那个烟小种它独特的风味是一直存在的。然后小青柑也就是抢不掉那个滋味。然后包括我们刚开始第二款喝的那个月光白的时候，也还是能够明显感觉到那个茶味啊跟青柑的味道都是结合的比较好的。对，还有一个普洱，就是小青柑普洱茶混合的也是比较好的。然后后面喝到这里的时候，就感觉这个六堡茶跟小青柑应该也是比较搭的。
I knew that from the beginning, like the physics of fitting the tea into the orange would be important, but I honestly wouldn't have expected that it would be that important. I figured like, oh, I'll just tell people to like steep it another 30 seconds or something like that. But after having this test, I'm actually not sure that's going to work. So luckily, that's why we've prepared so many different types, so that we don't have to like figure out how to fix one that doesn't work. We're just going to pick the ones that do work and put those on the site. So this has been a very great experiment. Overall, my thoughts are we have a lot that work, a lot went right. A lot of the red teas I think were really good. A lot of the white teas were really good. I think the Liubao, I'm very excited to see what that's like when I have the full orange. The Dongfang Meiren, we had mixed opinions on it. It definitely lost some of the distinctive scent of the Eastern Beauty, which is one of its selling points. But like, I don't know, like from the sample that I got to the sample that I had here, every time I drink that one, I'm just like, that's awesome. I just love that stuff. So I'm excited to try that. So our professional scientific testing is now done, and we're gonna be drinking the full oranges in a little bit. That's probably gonna be a different video. So keep your eyes peeled on this one. And again, follow our tea club, follow our site, be ready for them when they come, because by the time they come out, it's going to be almost 2 years in production on these things, and I think you guys are really going to like them. So thank you all so much. 也非常感谢我们的团队，非常感谢大家。Hey, and thank you so much to our team over here. I'm Jesse. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye. Thank you so much for being a part of my tea journey and for choosing me as your tea guy. I'm Jesse. 多喝茶, drink more tea.